regarding a new downtown arena. AJ Bayatpour live in downtown Milwaukee with the details. AJ?
Ted, the Bucks slogan is "Own the Future," and if there is going to be a deal for a new arena, that's when it'll happen. There is no deal today. However, officials at both the state and local levels say they did make progress. One of the previous 3 meetings between these top-level officials about a new arena, the governor's staff sat in on those meetings. Today, Governor Walker himself joined the talks, which happened just behind me at the Milwaukee Athletic Club. After the meeting today, Mayor Barrett said no one is talking numbers, at least not yet.
It's more, how do we get to an agreement, and then those numbers will fill in.
This Marquette study is giving us more of a glimpse at what could surround the new arena. For instance, where I'm standing now would be the site of a new parking garage surrounded by residential and retail developments. But first, there has to be an agreement.
Everyone expected a big construction boom if we can get this done, but I don't think that people had a great idea of how many permanent jobs, non-construction permanent jobs, would be created by this project.
In addition to the jobs estimate, the study lays out the phases in which the district would develop. First would come the arena, the parking garage, offices, bars, restaurants, and the Bucks practice facility. Next would come a 300-bed hotel, along with more parking and retail. The last phase includes more office and residential development, along with a new grocery store.
We've been very careful in looking at this to make sure that the area outside of the arena proper would be taxable. That's important for us.
Another concern is the amount of interest that would add up on the public funding.
I think that's something that's important, whether it's done now or done at a later stage. I want to lessen that burden.
While talks continue, officials involved in those talks have long agreed losing the Bucks is not an option.
We are one of 28 cities in the world that has this commodity.
We're going to begin with AJ Bayatpour, who has been in Madison at the Capitol all day following the developments. AJ?
Ted, good evening. That slogan that you mentioned, cheaper to keep them, well, that was plastered right there on the microphone at the podium, and that's the argument that we heard from officials at the state and local level, that in the long term, especially for the state, it would cost less to invest in a new arena than it would be if the Bucks were to leave Wisconsin.
Forget the Bucks for a second. Put this decision just inside a box, and you're just looking at the numbers part of this. Option A, we lose an enormous amount of revenue, and there's a hole in the budget, and it's going to hit all of us.
Here's a breakdown of how the public would cover the $250 million share for its half of the arena cost. The state would pay $55 million cash with interest. It maxes out at $80 million, paid $4 million a year over the next 20 years. The county's contribution would be the same. The city would pay $47 million, that going toward a new parking garage across from the arena and a new tax district around the arena. The biggest share would come from the Wisconsin Center District, a little less than $100 million. This meeting focused in particular on the proposed sale of the Park East land. During the hearing, we heard from dozens of people on both sides of the issue, and tonight inside the War Memorial, 2 consistently made arguments emerged. One saying we should not give public benefits to a private basketball team with very wealthy owners. The other argument, we cannot pass up on a once-in-a-generation opportunity to reinvent downtown Milwaukee. The opinions.
If we do not get this done in our window of time as citizens that we own, we will instantly fall to a 4th or 5th tier city.
Are firmly held.
The Bucks are privately owned by billionaires. Building an arena using tax dollars is a subsidy to billionaires.
And very much divided. Many of those waiting to speak struggled to find a seat Tuesday night during a public hearing about a proposed sale of the Park East land. Under the deal, Milwaukee County would sell the property to a group run by the Bucks owners for $1. Why so cheap? Developers say it's because there are massive costs associated with preparing that land. Plus, a full development as part of an arena package is too good to pass up.
I've been passionate about the Park East for many years. I've looked at it for a decade, trying to figure out ways to develop it. We are a city of neighborhoods. We have the opportunity to create our first authentic downtown neighborhood.
Others in the audience say that sounds good, but only as part of a bigger plan that benefits everyone.
If we're going to do taxes for this, why not add another $100 million on it, put an endowment for UWM and MPS on there, and then we'll have something going.
Today, team officials were in Madison for more than 5 hours. State lawmakers questioning the team president along with city and county officials. AJ Bayatpour was there.
If we do not get approval on building an arena in this session, the NBA will enforce the ability to buy back the team at a $25 million premium.
Bucks president Peter Fagan says it's in the team's purchase agreement. Construction on a new arena should begin in 2015. If the Bucks don't have a new arena after the 2017 season, the NBA can buy back the franchise.
And that's it. Our owners no longer own the team, and the team will move to Las Vegas or Seattle.
The arena will need bipartisan approval in Madison. Milwaukee Democrat Lena Taylor questions one part of the proposed funding plan, the $93 million coming from the Wisconsin Center District. Tax dollars the district already collects are committed to other debts until 2028. As a result, it'll rack up an additional $124 million in interest alone.
Who has a loan for 13 years and you don't pay anything, but you let the interest run? Who does that? You wouldn't have your kids do it.
Mayor Tom Barrett says the deal is certainly not perfect, but adds it's the result of a compromise between city, county, state, and team officials. He says overall, it's a fair deal for taxpayers.
It's a $500 million public works project that is being paid for with $250 million of private money.
On a local level, County Executive Chris Abley says losing the team would set back any efforts to develop downtown.
If we don't do this, if we let the team go, not only do we have the existing empty Park East, we add to the area that's undeveloped downtown whoever's responsible for it, essentially zombie Bradley Center.
As for how a new arena would benefit the state, supporters say Wisconsin currently collects more than $6 million a year in player income taxes, a number they say will grow with the NBA's new, richer television rights contract. Well, there was no vote today. This was strictly an informational hearing. The next arena development will come later this week when the state Senate takes up the arena bill, possibly on Wednesday. Reporting from outside the state capitol in Madison, AJ Bayatpour, Fox 6 News. Hey guys, if you've ever paid for a ticket to an event at the Bradley Center, you've paid a ticket surcharge. And for this arena, that fee goes towards the arena's maintenance. For a new arena, that ticket fee would help pay for its construction. In a new arena, it'll cost an extra $2 to see the Bucks. The state Senate added the fee this week as it reached a compromise on a $250 million public funding package for a new downtown arena. Marquette sports law professor Matt Parlow says such fees are rare.
Oftentimes because the tenants, particularly the professional sports team, don't like them because for every dollar that gets added as a tax, it's one less dollar that they can charge for their tickets.
Bucks officials have said they do not support a ticket fee.
We've been very vocal about anything that increases the price for the end user is not a good thing.
I felt that any additional dollars should go exclusively to the Wisconsin Center District.
According to state estimates, the fee would generate $1.5 million a year for the Center District and $500,000 a year for the state. Senator Lena Taylor says that could lower the district's total debt by about $30 million. By a score of 52 to 34, the Wisconsin State Assembly approves funding for a new arena in downtown Milwaukee. Members of the Bucks celebrate outside the chamber.
This is a great day. This is like real promise. It's the vision of our owners, of Senator Cole, of really the vision of the state of Wisconsin to invest in the city of Milwaukee.
Perhaps the two most noticeable no's came from Milwaukee Democrats David Bowen and Jonathan Brostoff.
Knowing how much resources we would have to use from the public side to support this project, I didn't think it was a good move.
Bowen wants naming rights money to go toward construction costs. Brostoff points out Milwaukee County has no set way to pay its $80 million share after the Senate removed a plan for the state to collect the county's unpaid debt.
The $80 million are going to be a huge cut to Milwaukee County, and I don't know how it's going to be made up. No one's set any contingency plan.
They can still use that opportunity with the state. It's just not mandated as part of this proposal.
Supporters say more answers will come in the future. One they say just got much brighter.
We have a chance to grow, get better each day, and our goal is to hold that gold trophy in that new arena.
Nation Star Mortgage is owned by an investment group called Fortress. The chairman of its board, Wes Edens, co-owner of the Milwaukee Bucks. For months, critics have said it's ridiculous that Edens wants public money for a new arena while Nation Star oversees foreclosed homes in the city. Well, today, Milwaukee officials announced an agreement with the mortgage company. For months, the group Common Ground has called for Nation Star Mortgage to help Milwaukee homeowners struggling with their payments. Friday, the company joined city leaders to announce a $30 million relief package.
So we're going to take $30 million worth of loans in Milwaukee and work with those customers on lowering their payments. And we do that through interest rate reduction. Sometimes we extend the term.
This vacant foreclosed house near 68th and Silver Spring is listed under Nation Star. The company is servicing about 3,500 houses throughout Milwaukee. Nation Star and Mayor Tom Barrett deny the company's ties to Bucks co-owner Wes Edens spurred the agreement.
During the arena discussion, did the connection at all between Nation Star and Mr. Edens come up at all?
I have had no conversations with him about this. This is all between the city and Nation
So
Star.
I think certainly, although I never brought it up and never mentioned it, I think it certainly was in the back of their minds.
And our leverage was really the connection with Mr. Edens in the arena. That was our leverage.
A new season tonight, but it's going to be another 3 years before they get the new arena.
The hope had long been for a new arena to be in place by 2017. Fox 6's AJ Bayapur live at the BMO Harris Bradley Center with the new details tonight, AJ.
Well, Stephanie, Brad, when you find out how much more work the Bucks have to do just to get building permits to start construction, it becomes easier to understand why they're pushing this back a year. As for the Bucks fans we've talked to here outside the Bradley Center, they say that delay has no effect on their excitement for this season, which begins in just a couple hours. New year, new gear.
We look good, don't we?
David Litzheim and Tom Silverthorne say for Bucks fans, patience truly is a virtue.
I've been through it since about '96 when I can remember growing up, through the thick and thin.
The Bradley Center features plenty of new going into Wednesday's opener against New York, a new logo, a new court. As for a new arena, that'll have to wait. The Bucks confirm on Tuesday their goal is now for a grand opening to the 2018-19 season.
It's another important step.
The Bucks have submitted to the city their general design plan. The later stages, such as plans for the site of the Bradley Center, are noticeably vague, with buildings that could range from 2 to 20 stories tall.
And then it's more organic instead of being rushed, and then it's just all the square feet added to the market and it can't be absorbed, and so you got a lot of empty buildings.
We want to make sure we have the flexibility to do what's going to be best economically and what's going to be best for to unleash the potential of Milwaukee's future.
Nationwide Arena opened in 2000 as part of a larger neighborhood redevelopment, one the Bucks themselves have visited. Columbus officials say the district has generated about $1 billion in private development. The arena did not receive public funding at first, but when its revenues fell short of original estimates, the public took ownership, and Ohio redirected some of the revenue from 4 casinos to help pay off the debt. Dr. Robert Greenbaum from Ohio State University studied the development and concludes it did help the local economy overall, but he adds it wasn't good for everyone.
When the arena district was developed here, there were other parts of town that where some of the entertainment and some of the bars had a tough time at that time.
Greenbaum specifically mentions the brewery district, which is across town from the arena district.
The effects were immediate.
Tony Scarts has run an Italian restaurant in the brewery district for more than 30 years. He says the arena district was anything but a boon for his business.
Other restaurants went out of business. A lot of people started moving out of the neighborhood and into newer apartments.
Bucks president Peter Fagan says even with the promotional videos, the team isn't pretending the arena will transform Milwaukee, but he says it will aid the city's growth, even in other neighborhoods.
Walker's Point, I would argue, is like in the embryonic stages of how to grow. So this to me is really an accelerator. Like, how do we accelerate the renaissance of Milwaukee that's already happening?
DeMoss says that may be a reasonable goal, but adds it's a very expensive accelerator. After interest, the estimated cost to taxpayers for construction alone is about $400 million.
Do you hope that property values will go up? Sure. Do you hope that, this will be, a positive name recognition for Milwaukee? Absolutely. Are you going to count on this to pay back your investment? You really should not.
In Columbus, Scarts says despite his losses, he supports the arena district.
It's a success for the city, okay? Not necessarily a success for the brewery district. No, it's hurt us, okay, no doubt about it, but it has been good for the city.
After 15 years, there's no denying the development that continues to occur around Nationwide Arena. It is also undeniable that the arena has come with some unanticipated public costs. Whether that's the price of building and maintaining a big league American city or a poor use of taxpayer money is a debate we may be having in 15 years in Milwaukee. Reporting from Columbus, Ohio, AJ Bayapur, Fox 6 News.